Hi everyone! Today I am going to show you my entire journal collection, and I'm also going to show you what I'm actually going to be using for the year 2016. Now, I have shared in the past that I am not a good journaler. I want to be, but it's just something that I've really struggled with. And what I have finally discovered, at least for myself, is that I really need guided journals. And if you're not familiar with what that term is, it just means that a journal has some type of format to it. It could be as simple as like one little word prompt to the page is completely filled up and essentially all you're doing is filling in the blanks. But another thing that I noticed with, for me at least, is when I see just a blank journal, which I do have a couple of those, the white blank space is just completely overwhelming to me. I don't know where to begin or what to write or how even to start. And so these guided journals at least are where it's at for me. Now, I do have a lot of journals that I'm going to show you. I'm going to be very vulnerable and tell you that I have been collecting journals for a number of years, and I have started a lot of them. I have not completed a single one of them. And it's definitely not the journal. I know it's me. I just have some kind of mental block, or it's the habit or something that I'm missing. Now, the journals that I have, I think, fall into three different categories. Health and fitness, obviously, you see in front of you. I also have what I call 1-year journals and then 5-year journals. And so what I want to do is briefly share all of those with you. If you're in the same predicament that I am in, maybe this will give you a little bit of inspiration, make you feel like you're not the only one out there that struggles. If you're an avid journaler, this obviously is not going to be the video for you, but let's go ahead and get started. And then at the very end, I'll show you what I'm actually going to be using. So the health and fitness journals, you can see right here, I have 5 of them. These 2 right here are by the same company, and I really loved the format of these, and I did use these for a while, both of them. So the fitness one, I'm going to show you, I just really love the way it was laid out. It has this nice little chart, so you can track things over here, whether it's your weight or something else, and then it's got by week over here, and then look at this. Woo, stickers! So I love that. It does have a whole section on here on describing fitness and how to set goals and do different things like that. I'll completely skip over that. I'm just going to show you a blank page. And here's how it is. It's got, obviously it's undated, so you fill in the date. It's got your energy level, your weight, your cardio, strength training, if you do any classes down here, and then of course flexibility, relaxation, meditation. And then here's your nutrition section, because nutrition and fitness obviously correlate. Your vitamins and supplements, your water intake that you can check off, and then a notes section. So I really love that, and I did use this for a little while. I have to be honest and say I am not doing any cardio or anything like that right now. That is in one of my goals shortly, but not yet. Can only work on one weakness at a time, right? So the next one is the losing weight one of that same one. I did use this one a lot more, so let me skip over that. So this one actually is blue compared to the red one of the other one. So here's the blue motivational stickers, and then let me show you these blank pages. So as you can see, these pages are pretty full, and you're just going to mark these in. But this, for me, I consider this a journal because you're writing a bunch of things down, and then you can actually write down your feelings or how you think the day has gone. So this one, because it's the food, it's going to focus on the nutrition. So here's your morning, lunch, and dinner, your evening, sorry, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, morning, afternoon, and evening. That's what I'm trying to say there. And then you've got snacks over here, and then here is your fitness and exercise section. So as you can see, the 2 are completely opposite. Even though they do relate together, it just depends on which one you're focused. So you can actually use either one of these journals for either one of those goals, but it just depends on what your main focus is. Here are your daily totals, vitamins, and again, here's another little section that you can write down there. So I did use this to lose weight, and I was successful using it, so that was great. Here's another one that I have not started yet. This is a wellness journal, so the focus is a little bit different here. So it just has the contents, some introduction, and then it just has tips for using this particular journal, and it's the way it's laid out and some suggestions to use it. And then it's got some symptoms, and then this just goes right into the daily pages. So this one, again, is similar to the other ones, but it was more focused on your health. And so if you have any chronic illnesses like I do, then you know that the weather affects it. Here's your blood pressure, blood sugar, your sleep patterns, whether you take a nap or how many hours you slept, your medications and your vitamins, physical activity. this is why I really love this the most, is because it's got this body right here, both front and back, so you can track the areas that are giving you issues, and then you have space to write a little note about that. Here is your pain scale and then how you felt today, and then your symptoms by each part of your body, and then another just general notes down there, and then your diet right here, which, as you know, can affect a bunch of different illnesses. So this just continues just like that. There's nothing special. It's just every day on 2 pages, just like this one. One of the other reasons why I have 5 health and fitness journals is because, at least what I've noticed, is these only last about 3 months. I have never seen a health and fitness journal that's longer than that. That's just because they're generally a daily page, and you just don't have that amount of space. They don't give you more pages than that, just because it gets too bulky. So here's another wellness journal. This one is by the Arthritis Foundation. And here's the intro on that one, just a little bit of some guidance there. And then, as you can see, this one's a little bit more of a blank one, where it just gives you a little bit of a prompt. You've got your pain and then your mood, and then it has a quote, one on each 2-page spread, and then it alternates back and forth between the left and the right page. So it just goes just like that. So a little bit more flexibility with this one on what you actually want to write down. But again, that's going to last you about 3 months. And then this is my most current one that I bought a few months ago at Target. For some reason, this was $15 at Target, but $30 on Amazon. So I don't know why the price discrepancy there, but just letting you know that. And this obviously is designed by a graphic designer, because I just think this layout is just completely gorgeous. I love the colors and how things are sectioned off like this. But this one, it has 3 lines to write gratitude, what your goal is, the thing that you appreciate about your body, which I think is great, because I think most of us focus on the things we don't like about our bodies. So I like the positive spin there. This is where you write down your workouts, your food, and then your mood. You can circle that, and it's got little timeline there, or energy timeline. And then here is suggestions that it gives you down here at the bottom. Up in the upper right, it gives a quote for each day on 2 pages. And I did look through this entire journal, and none of them repeat, which I think is awesome. So you get 90 different quotes, and then blank spaces right here. That's probably where you could be a little bit more detailed about your food or your workouts, and then what inspires you. So I'm going to flip through just a couple pages. As you can see, nothing really changes except for this quote up here at the top, but I really, really do like that. This brand is Markings, in case you're wondering, and it's called Fitspiration. So I like that one a lot. So really, I only have about a year's worth of fitness journals there. My next section is my 1-year journals. Again, I have 5 of those. I seem to go in 5s on here. As you can see, I have a gratitude journal. I know the importance of gratitude. I really wanted to try, but this one just did not work very well. But I love the colors. It's just got this gorgeous golden yellow, which I'm originally from Kansas. It reminds me of the sunflowers, so I love that. And on each page, it's got a little prompt or a little quote, or just something to think about for inspiration for you to write. And then once in a while, you have a big quote like this, and then once in a while, you will also have just a blank space. But for the most part, they're giving you something every single day. Let me see if I can find one that has a blank page. So there's one. So it just goes through like that. This one has enough pages to last you for the entire year. And then this is a Gretchen Rubin journal, if you're unfamiliar with her. She is one of my favorite authors of all time. This is her newest book, Better Than Before, and she's all about habits. And so it does have an introduction in case you're not familiar with the different, she has 4 different categories of the kind of person that you are and your distinctions, and just some suggestions there. Here's her habits that she always talks about. And then her Essential 7, the things that she always does. And then this one's a little bit unique, because all the other journals that I've noticed are either daily or they're quarterly or yearly. This one is actually set up weekly, which I think is interesting. So here's an example of how to use this, but it just goes through week 1. So this journal will last you for the entire year, and it's just something to read and then something to think about or to write about. This does give you, I think, 5 or 6 different pages for each week. So you can write about how things are going or your struggles or whatever. And then it's got this one page right here where you're working on 4 different habits. And then for each day, it has a checkbox. So I think that's really cool. As you can see, I have not started using this yet, but I really do love the way that this one is set up. Here's another one that was going to last you a year. This is the Simple Abundance. If you're unfamiliar with Sarah Ban Breathnach, she wrote Simple Abundance. She has a huge line of Simple Abundance books that are very successful. I did start using this one, but this one was really difficult for me to use because, as you can see, it does not lay flat, and that really was something I just could not get over. It does have a nice little bookmark though, but it's got a week on 2 pages, and then it has 5 lines because you're supposed to write 5 things that you're grateful for every single day. And so I did start using this one, but just could not deal with that. Then these are, I didn't, for lack of a better section, I didn't know what to put them in, but they're 1-year journals, because you do have to think about these. If you are not familiar with these, they have 1, 2, 5, and I think they probably have more than that than now, but the 1 journal is you're focusing on yourself. The 2 is for if you're in a relationship, it's for a couple, and then the 5-year, it doesn't actually last 5 years. What that means is you're working on 5-year goals. And so it has in here, I consider these journals because there's some things that you read about or some things that prompt you, and then you actually go and write about it. So let me see if I can find some pages here. So here's something where you can write down with your partner. So just things like that. This one will take a little while to get through. That's not something that you can do in a day or a week or probably even a month. There's probably something you need to think about for a little while. And then the 5-year one is just your 5-year goals. So it's got, here's one of the examples of the pages that you write on. So it's a little bit different format, but it's still, for me at least, considered to be a journal. And then my last section is my 5-year journals. And yep, once again, I've got 5 journals in here. I don't know what it is. I didn't mean to do that, but I'm going to start with these. You're probably most familiar with this line, the 1 line a day journal. The original blue one, I would say, is probably the most popular one that people buy. My daughter actually has that, and she's on her 5th year, which is amazing. She obviously didn't get the journaling gene from me, so I just think that's so cool. She's an inspiration. But I actually got the Gardener's 1 line a day, and I got the Living Well 1 line a day. They also have a Mom's 1 line a day that's purple, lavender, and I think that would be really cool. I don't need that, but it would be really cool to like start that when you first got pregnant and go through all the symptoms all the way up to the child's 4th or 5th year, just with all the different milestones. So anyway, I love the idea of having 5 years worth of your life all written down in one book. I just think that's such a cool concept. I think that's another reason I'm drawn towards these guided journals. But the Gardener's 1 line a day, not a lot of instruction here. So obviously you have to be a gardener, which I am. My only concern with this one, nothing special about the pages, but I don't live in a place like California that you can garden year round. So I think at least the winter months are going to be wasted. I really don't know what to write in there. That is my only problem with this particular one. But I do love the idea of I will be able to know from year to year what was the first frost date, what was the actual day that we planted our garden, what was our first harvest date, all those kinds of things I think is really cool. Just all the different, keeping track of how much a certain plant produced. So I do love the idea of this. And I think it's really great to have that reference from year to year. The Living Well 1 line a day was another interesting thing for me because I'm all about that, living well, but it's not just health and fitness. And it is up for discussion or whatever you want to use it for, but they do give you some ideas right here, such as new beginnings, self-care rituals, creating new goals and intentions, what you learned today, a good conversation that you had that was inspiring, gently, I think that's an interesting word, gently acknowledging your struggles, consider your need for control, which again, so interesting. I think a lot of us struggle with that at least from time to time. Your ancestors, getting to know yourself, when are you most content, etc. Your relationships, who do you trust? I think that's such a loaded question, but one that we should all think about periodically. Embracing change, describing your me time, what do you like to do to treat yourself, and then being creative. So a lot of great suggestions there. Again, it's got this gorgeous yellow, bright color to it, and I just, again, love to have something like this to reference from year to year to year. The other ones I have are this Q&A journal. This, I would say, also is the most popular Q&A journal. There are other ones out there. And I was watching a journaling video that they gave a great suggestion, because even though you have 365 questions to answer, Some people do get tired of those from year to year, so what they have done is actually bought two different kinds of the Q&A journals, and then they alternate back and forth, which I think is a super idea. I also like the variety of questions in here. Some of these are just a fill in the blank, like today was unusual because, were you a wallflower or a social butterfly today? And some of these are really simple, like, how many cups of tea do you drink? Or it also is very deep, like who's the most important person in your life and why. So some of these are going to be super easy to answer, and some it's going to take a little bit of thought. But I like, again, the idea of that one. This one is Jane a Day, which I am a huge, huge, huge Jane Austen fan. In fact, my all-time favorite fiction book is Pride and Prejudice. I try and read that every single year without fail. That's how much I love it. If you're not familiar with Jane Austen, she has 7 main books that she wrote before she died young. But each one of these days has a quote, either from one of her books, or this one has personal correspondence that she actually wrote to somebody in a letter, which I just think is so cool. So I'm excited to start using this one. And then last but not least in my 5-year category is The Happiness Project. Again, Gretchen Rubin, she's one of my faves. And I love this because it's the Bluebird of Happiness. It's got the yellow and the blue colors, which are so cheerful. I'm just really drawn to this one. It even has yellow pages on the edges. And so this one has a quote for each one of the days, which I love that because it's so inspiring to me. I'm a huge quote person. And so there's how that one looks. So really nice. Now, I'm not using any of those journals this year because I will show you what I'm using. And I really just feel like I can only do so many journals at once. But I am tracking my food in this, which 2016 is also going to be the year of the Hobonichi for me. So this is a Hobonichi weekly booklet in the A6 cover. So this is my food tracker, and I have been doing it consistently from every single day from the first of the year. So it's nothing exciting to show you, plus I have a completely separate video on this, and you get the idea on that one. I do really want to do gratitude, and that was one of my main goals this year, is to do a gratitude journal. So I did start with this one, which is another Hobonichi. I just write down some ideas right here for the day, things that I am thankful for as they come up. And so this booklet, it's in the sack cover. And I have written in this one also every single day, which I have to say I'm pretty proud of myself because it's now been 6 weeks, because this one started actually the middle of December. So 6 weeks every single day, I have to say, is a record for me. So I am very, very happy about that. I want to say it's a habit at this point, but it's a very tender habit. I still need to work on this. I can't rest on my laurels with this one, but I definitely am being successful. So I'm super happy about that. So that's my gratitude journal. These two I am in every single day. So those are daily journals. And then I have a whole bunch of other journals, which are right here. And these are my Moleskine Passion journals. I have a separate video on this one as well. And I have 6 of them, which I'm going to, there they go, into frame. If you're not familiar with the Moleskine Passion journals, they have 21 different ones to choose from, and I chose 6. So I have book journal, I have gardening, home life, recipe, tea, and wellness. Now these, it may seem overwhelming that I have 8 different journals with all of these together, but I'm not in these every single day. The only ones I'm in every single day are these 2 right here. And so these 6 are more of reference types of journals. I don't know how long these are going to last, honestly, because it just depends on how much I'm going to use them with the number of pages that they have. The wellness journal, I just keep track of, so far, when I go to the doctor, the notes that they have for me, I always ask for suggestions or what I can do to improve my health. And so I just write those kinds of things down in here. So obviously that's personal. I can't show you that. The tea journal, I've only tried 1 new recipe in there, but I am going to write that because tea is another one of my goals this year. The recipe journal, same kind of a thing. I'm changing up my eating a lot, so I'm going to be putting a lot. After I try a recipe, that's when it's going to go in here if I know that I really love it. It's not ones that I'm just going to try that I don't know that I like yet. The home life one is just one of those, it's basically a home management type of binder where you just write down measurements of things. We do have some projects that we're starting in a couple of days next week, and I'm just going to keep track of all that information there, the things that we need to buy and the timeline and things like that. And then the gardening journal, obviously I can't start that until the spring. So as you can see, these are just more of an occasional journal just when I need them. The book journal right here, I'm actually going to show you a page because, and I would say on average, I'm going to be in these maybe once a week, if that. So this is just set up with all the alphabet down the side. And let me go to this one, which is one of the books I just read in January. So this is just a notes page. It's one book per page. So here's all my notes, the things that I learned. Here's my review. And then I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. So that's just how those pages are. You do get 6 pages for each letter. So this is going to last me, I would say, for several years now. And then this section is I'm going to be, each section right here is just per month, the books that I want to read for that month. And I'm just going to continue down that. Again, you get like, well, this one I think you get 8 or 10 pages. So it's just going to last me a really long time. I like, same thing with the 5-year journals. I just like having each section of my life contained in one book that I can just go back and look at. Anyway, I hope that this has been helpful or you have enjoyed this at least. But for me at least, these types of guided journals are just a really good segue into what I call the hardcore journaling. I'm still not ready for that, but these are the ones I've chosen for this year. The other ones I hope to incorporate at least sometime in my life soon, possibly next year. But anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. I will talk to you guys again soon.